The purpose of the stats lesson is to go over the mean, median, mode, and range. All of these are stuff that you should have been introduced to in the past, so I'm hoping that this is going to be just a quick reminder on how to do everything. I would like for you to pause the video and write down the definitions that I've written down, and when you are ready, hit play to resume. First, we're going to go over mean, median, and mode. As I go through an example, I'll read the definitions once again. For number 1, it says that we want to find the mean, median, and mode. It doesn't ask for range, but I may mention it. If I'm going to find the mean, what I need to do is I need to add all of these numbers together and then divide it by the amount of values that I have in the set. So I have my calculator. You can see I'm going to do 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 0 plus 4 plus 2 plus 6 plus 1. So I can see that I have 25 when I add up all of the values. Now I need to divide it by the amount of values that I have in the set. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 values in the data set. Which means to find the mean, all I have to do is 25 divided by 10, and that gives me 2.5. I would like decimals when we're doing mean, median, mode, and range. Now I want to find the median. Now you can't just find the middle value of this data set as it is. It must be when it's ordered from least to greatest. So my lowest value is 0. I like to cross them out as I rewrite it. Then I have the number 1. And you know what? I have the number 1 more than once. I have it 3 times, so I need to rewrite it 3 times. I have the number 2 twice. Then I have a 3, 4, 5, and a 6. So as you can see, I rewrote the data set from least to greatest. Now I can go through and find the middle value. So I just start on the outside and count my way in. Okay, so I started at the outside, just going in one at a time. So I end up with 2 numbers that are in the middle. When you have 2 numbers that are in the middle, you need to find their average. So for this one, my median, I need to do 2 plus 2, those are my 2 values that are in the middle, divided by 2, because I'm adding 2 values together, which is 4 over 2 or 2, which means the middle number in this data set is 2. The mode is the number that is repeated the most frequently. If all of the numbers are repeated the same amount of times, we would just say that there is no mode. If there were a couple of different numbers that were repeated the same amount of times, like let's say I had the number 1 repeated 3 times and the number 2 repeated 3 times, both of those could be the mode. So there can be more than one mode. In this specific example, the number 1 is used the most frequently, so number 1 would be my mode. I know it didn't ask for it, so we're going to do it anyways. I want to review the range, which we have the definition down here. It's the difference between the highest and lowest values. So my highest value is 6, and I'm going to subtract because it's the difference of my lowest value, which was 0. So my range of numbers would be 6. All right, number 3. I would like for you to go ahead and try identifying the mean, median, and mode and hit play when you're ready to check your work. The mean we get by adding these values together and then dividing by the amount of values we had. So you can see in the calculator I'm doing 31.25 plus 27.50 plus 28.00 plus 36.95 plus 32.10. So that gave me 155.8 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So I'm going to divide that number by 5. I get 31.16 as the mean. The median you are not able to do just by looking at the set as is. You should have rewritten your data set in order from least to greatest, which would look like this. Then you start at the outside and count your way in till you see what number's in the middle. So that means that 31.25 is in the middle. If I would have had two numbers, we would find the average like what we did in example 1, but because there's just one number in the middle, we just go ahead and write the answer. Mode is the number that's repeated the most frequently. All of these numbers are repeated once, so there is no mode. No number occurs in the data set more than any other number. And then range we get by doing the highest number minus our lowest number. And if I were to plug that in, 36.95 minus 27.5, that gives me 9.45. For number 5, you're just going to find the range. No need to do mean, median, mode. All we do, like we said before, is do the highest minus the lowest. So looking at this, I can see that my highest value is 9.56 and my lowest value appears to be the 6.75. So 9.56 minus 6.75 will give me 2.81. 7 and 8 are a little bit different. It says write and solve the equation and find the values of x. So the key word here is that if I have 4.8, 1.6, 5.2, and some fourth value of x, I want to get the mean of 3.7. Well, we know that the mean is the average of the data set that is found by adding the numbers in the data set and then dividing by the number of values in the set. So my data set for number 7 is going to be 4.8 plus 1.6 plus 5.2 plus some value of x. And I'm going to divide that by the amount of values I would have in that set, which is 4. Now I don't know what this number in the set is, but I do know that the mean, which is what I just wrote the equation for, is going to be equal to 3.7. So all we have to do is use basic algebra to solve for x. The first thing I would do is go ahead and add these together, or if it's easiest, get rid of the 4 in the denominator. So to undo being divided by 4, we multiply by 4. So that gives me 4.8 plus 1.6 plus 5.2 plus x equals 3.7 times 4, which is 14.8. Now I'm going to go ahead and add these values together. So 4.8 plus 1.6 plus 5.2 would give me 11.6. But I'm still adding some value of x that I don't know. The goal is to get x by itself. We are currently adding 11.6, so let's subtract it. X equals 3.2. So 3.2 was the missing number in our data set in order to give us a mean of 3.7. Number 9. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and pause the video to attempt this problem. If you're still not comfortable, you can watch me solve it. I have the numbers 100, 172, 85, 92, and some value of x in a data set. I want the mean to be 115. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an equation for the mean of this set. That's 100 plus 172 plus 85 plus 92 plus x. There are 5 numbers in this set, and I want it to equal 115. First thing I personally would do is multiply by 5 to get rid of that. So 115 times 5 is 575. So then I have all of this set equal to 575. So now I'm going to go ahead and add these numbers together. 100 plus 172 plus 85 plus 92 would give me 449 plus x, because I didn't know what the x value was. If I want to get x by itself, I'm currently adding 449, so now I need to subtract it. That means x equals 126. I want you to cross off these directions right here. It says a bakery collected the following data about the number of loaves of fresh bread sold on each of the 24 business days. I'd like for you to pause the video and find the mean, median, and mode and the range of the data. Hit play when you're ready to check. First, I found the mean. I added all of these numbers together and ended up with 948. Then I divided by the amount of numbers that I have in a set, which was 24, because they were 24 business days. And I ended up with 39.5. The median, when I started at the ends and worked my way in to see what fell in the middle, I had 2 numbers in the middle. And when that happens, we would find their average. So 39 plus 40 divided by 2. And that gave me 39.5. The mode, remember, is the number that appears the most frequently in the data set. So we actually had 3 numbers that appeared twice, meaning that all 3 would be our mode: 37, 40, and 42. The range is the highest value minus the lowest value. So the highest value was 72, the lowest was 17, which means we had a range of 55.